Welcome to the Unveiled Epic Echoes channel. Today, we're diving deep into an unexplored historical mystery. Somewhere between the low wheat fields and long highways of the American Midwest, where radio signals travel farther than certainty, and the night sky hums with unseen currents, there once existed a radio station that should not have been possible, a station known only to those who stumbled upon it by accident, turning a dial just past static to hear broadcasts that had not yet happened. A station that did not predict the future, but calmly reported it as if it were already memory. The first documented encounter occurred in 1977, though evidence suggests it had been whispering for decades before, when a Vietnam veteran named Thomas Hale, unable to sleep in his rented farmhouse outside Topeka, tuned his old Zenith radio to distract himself from the quiet, and instead heard a familiar voice reading tomorrow's news, word for word, including a minor bridge collapse that would not occur until the following afternoon. A detail so small and precise it lodged in his mind like a splinter. The next day, when the bridge failed exactly as described, Thomas returned to the radio with shaking hands, only to find the station gone, replaced by ordinary static and a faint echo like breathing. Over the following years, similar stories surfaced in fragments. A trucker in Nebraska hearing next week's weather down to the hour. A college student in New Mexico catching a late-night music program that debuted songs not yet recorded, all of them describing the same calm, unhurried tone, the same sign-off spoken softly at the end of each broadcast, as if addressing someone unseen. What none of them knew was that the station's roots stretched far deeper than modern radio, back to an era before electricity, when time itself was understood differently by those who listened closely to the land. In the 1890s, an obscure inventor and amateur archaeologist named Mercer had uncovered a series of stone discs while excavating a mound near the Mississippi River. Discs etched with spirals and waveforms that mirrored both sound and cycles. And alongside them, a brittle manuscript written in a mix of Latin and symbols older still, describing the echo line, a natural current through which moments traveled like signals, accessible only through resonance rather than force. Believed time was not a river but a field, and that with the right frequency, one could hear its future movements as easily as wind through grass. When radio technology emerged decades later, his forgotten journals passed into the hands of his grandson, Mercer's uncle, who quietly completed his work during World War II, building a transmitter not to send messages forward, but to receive what had already been shaped by what was coming. By the 1950s, the station had taken form, operating from a hidden relay beneath an abandoned weather outpost. Its call letters never officially registered, its power source humming at a frequency that did not draw from the grid, and its broadcasts carefully limited, never announcing catastrophes outright, only gently narrating events that could not be altered without unraveling something deeper. Herself became the station's final steward, a woman with a voice suited for night listening, warm and steady, who understood that the future did not want to be shouted, only acknowledged, and each night she read from scripts that arrived not written but impressed into her mind as if remembered from a life already lived, delivering tomorrow's truths with no emotion, no warning, trusting that those who heard were meant to. The rising tension came in 1983, when a broadcast describing a small, preventable factory fire was intercepted by a government monitoring program, triggering investigations that traced the signal to its source. And as officials closed in, faced the knowledge that once exposed, the station would be dismantled, its purpose misunderstood, its existence erased as an anomaly rather than honored as a balance. On the night agents arrived, she stayed on the air longer than ever before, her voice carrying across the plains, reading not news but reflections, subtle reminders that time listens as much as it speaks, that tomorrow is not owned, only borrowed, and that some knowledge arrives not to be changed, but to be carried gently so the mind can rest. As dawn approached, broadcast the final message, a simple weather report for a day that would unfold quietly, then powered down the transmitter and sealed the chamber, allowing the echo line to fall silent once more. The official record listed the station as atmospheric interference, the equipment as obsolete, the people involved as mistaken, yet long after, late-night listeners would still swear that on certain frequencies, just past reason, they could hear a calm voice describing a day that felt oddly familiar, as if they had already lived it. And in those moments, anxiety softened, sleep came easier, and the future, briefly heard, felt less like a threat and more like a promise patiently waiting its turn to arrive. This mysterious journey ends here, but stay tuned for more untold stories in our next video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new stories. Thank you, and see you again.